Good morning, guys. My name is Elisa, and this is a new series. Good morning, guys. My name is Elisa, and this is a new part of our series of basics in SolidWorks. And today we're going to talk about assembly. Assembly is a bit of a more complicated feature than part because you use it to assemble different parts together. So usually if you see some kind of a finished product, wheels, cars, anything like that, usually it's done using the assembly feature. So let's go into it. Once you click to open a new file on the top, you're going to have the option to do a part or assembly or a drawing. Today we're going to talk about assembly, so click on that and then click OK. Now, here on the left, you will see assemblies to insert. If you already have an open document, it's going to show up here. If you don't, you just click on this browse, and then you can find any of your parts in your computer. So let's start. I want to open this part, number 1, so I can place it over here. Okay, and I also want to open a second part. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go into assembly, I'm going to go into insert component and click on my second component, bring it out, and here we go. And you can just place it anywhere. All right, so now we've got these components. Now, how do I actually assemble them together? We're going to use what is called mating, okay? And the way you mate things is really important for how it's going to print out later on. So I suggest that, get into the details first before you print your final product. So I have these two parts. I want to put this block, let's say I want to put it parallel to this one, and I want them to be merged. I'm gonna click on this. I'm gonna click on mate on the top here. So I choose one side that I want to mate with another side. In this case, it's this one. I click on mate. And here I have several options on how I want to mate this. So we're gonna start with standard. I have one selection for mate over here, and now I have to choose the second side that I'm gonna mate my thing to. So basically just join them together. I want to put it to this side. You see it automatically flipped. And now the sides are exactly perpendicular to each other. Okay, so they're on the same plane. Now I want them to coincide, right? So I don't want this block to be lower than the other. I just want them to be together. So let's look at this menu. We have coincident, which means they're going to be on the same plane, and sometimes the program puts the blocks together for you automatically at this feature, but sometimes it doesn't, as in this case. Parallel, basically the same thing as coincident. Perpendicular, it's going to flip it perpendicular to your plane, right? Tangent is sometimes available, it depends on the figure, and concentric is for circles. So if you're trying to design a tube and let's say you want to make a cut, or you want to put the tubes together and you have a certain diameter, you can make them concentric. And we're going to talk about this later. Lock locks the orientation of your mating so it doesn't flip later. Okay, so this is one of my mates. Now I want to put them together, right, as I mentioned. So what I'm going to do, and there are a lot of different ways to do this, but the way I like to do it is I'm going to click on this line on the edge, and then I'm gonna click on this edge. Boom, see, it automatically came up here. Let's say I want this block to be coincident to this side, right? I want them both to start the same place. You're going to choose this line, and then you're going to choose this line, okay? Be careful not to choose this whole rectangle versus just one line. You see the difference? Because then it's going to mate it differently, and it's going to turn the block and flip it over to another side. Okay, so also if you don't fix your components, sometimes you can move them and it's going to be a problem. Okay, you see it's moving. So we did do one mate, which means that it's going to move it's going to move in the same plane, but it's not, you know, like, it's still going to be moving around. So you want to make sure that you're very careful with this. So you set up all of your mates, okay? So let's talk about maybe one more thing, and that is concentric, because usually you can figure this out with just a coincident feature without using parallel or perpendicular, but of course feel free to try them, and if you want a tutorial on them, let me know, I'll make it. So now let's say I want to make something concentric. I want to make this sketch parallel to this tube, okay? So what I'm going to do again is I'm going to click, oh, by the way, one more important thing, it matters in what order you click things, okay? If you click on this first and then you click on this file, then this file is going to adjust itself to this sketch. Now the other way around, if let's say you clicked this first and then you clicked the sketch second, then the sketch is going to adjust itself towards the tube. So either the tube is going to go this way or the sketch is going to go up here. Okay, so just keep that in mind. So again, I'm clicking on the sketch. I'm going to click on mate. I'm going to choose concentric over here on the left, and I'm going to click on this outline. All right. One more thing, I forgot that both of these features are from the same part. So, okay. So this is a common mistake. See how it says, please select from two different components. What does this mean? This means that you can only make different components. So you can only make different files. If you have two features in the same file, it's not going to work. Okay. So let me show you now, since this is one of our parts and this is the second one, we can make this part and this second part. So again, click on this. Let's say I want to make this one. And I want to mate it to somewhere here. I'm going to click concentric. And I want to mate it to this. Another important feature. Sometimes SolidWorks acts up and it doesn't let you mate it concentrically to a sketch like this. Now, I don't know if it's going to work this time, but if it doesn't work, then try to select, you see the entire tube versus just a sketch. You see the difference? So if you select the entire tube, it's going to work. If you just select the sketch, sometimes it might, sometimes it won't. You see, so it's going to give you some issues. So we're going to do again. This, concentric. Okay, so this means that the mate that we made previously, when your features are in the same plane, remember when we made this one, it's going to be broken if you want to select this mate. And if your mates are critical to you, obviously don't break them, find another way to mate these two things. Since they're not critical, we're just gonna say that the first option. Okay, it's gonna give us some issues as always, but I'm trying to show the point that you can use this to be concentrically, okay? When you break a mate, it's going to give you a lot of errors. So my suggestion is try not to break your mates, okay? Either move this somewhere closer to the part, sometimes that helps, or just select a different feature to make your mate. All right? So hopefully this was helpful, just how these functions operate, and we went over a couple of mistakes that can happen. And yeah, let me know if there are any questions. Thank you.